covering all of Delmarva. This is WBOC News This Morning, Delmarva's news leader.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill Mitch. Welcome to WBOC News This Morning, 7:30 on a soggy Saturday, September 23rd. People waking up, we got rain, serious wind, plenty of flooding, particularly in our coastal communities as Ophelia moves north. Let's start this half hour with a live look at Ocean City. Once again, you can see the surf coming ashore, pushing towards the boardwalk from the Gateway Subaru camera atop of the Commander Hotel. So we have team coverage this morning. We got a lot going on. Team coverage this morning, keeping you up to date with what is happening. Chief Meteorologist Dan Satterfield live atop the Boardwalk Plaza Hotel in Rehoboth Beach. Kirsten Clark is live in downtown Ocean City. Meteorologist John Conway in the Storm Tracker Weather Center. John, we're going to begin with you. Ophelia is here and is not being shy about it.
Definitely no denying that here. Ophelia actually 300 miles away, and we've been contending with gusty winds, windswept rain, and even some tropical storm force wind gusts over the last several hours. Let's pull up some of those winds right now. Tropical storm force wind gusts being recorded right now in both Ocean City and Salisbury, and in Georgetown and Dover. Those wind gusts are bordering on tropical storm force. Satellite and radar here showing widespread light to moderate rain showers. We have been watching a couple little thunder showers making their way ashore, mainly down in the Chincoteague area. We are seeing some heavier downpours right now moving across southern Worcester County on their way into Somerset County. That's going to be reducing your visibility at times. Fortunately for our friends who are reporting live, it is not a cold morning. 68 Rehoboth Beach, 72 Ocean City. Our temperatures going into the mid-70s today. There's a thunderstorm threat. We'll talk about that in 8 minutes.
John, thank you, sir. We're going to be checking back in with just a little bit. Quick reminder, if your power goes out, so does your TV. WBOC is still here for you with the latest information. Make sure your phone is charged and download the WBOC weather app. We have live radar, that is, severe weather alerts, and constant updates throughout the day. Now, as Ophelia travels north, our coastal communities are feeling the brunt of the storm. Chief Meteorologist Dan Satterfield joining us now from the Boardwalk Plaza Hotel in Rehoboth Beach. Dan, Rehoboth no stranger to flooding, and people we spoke with yesterday say they're ready for some unprecedented flooding.
Good morning, Bill. I'm on the 4th floor of the Boardwalk Plaza Hotel, and we're hanging on right now. The winds are really howling here. The rain has eased up a bit. Look at this ocean. It's huge. Water at low tide now, coming up on low tide. It's coming up already to the dunes in just the last little bit. The waves are 17 feet offshore, and just south of here on State Road 1, there's a DelDOT weather station, and it just measured a gust to 63 miles per hour. It's really howling. The Boardwalk weather station here has had gusts to 45, 47, 50 down to the south at Indian River Inlet, and the waves offshore are 17 feet. Let's hope that as we get into the afternoon and come to high tide around 3 o'clock, that it's a moderate coastal flood event, not a major one. The latest data, the latest data is saying it's probably going to be moderate, not major, and that would be good news. Majors, of course, as you know, is something like we saw in Sandy. But the winds from this storm, they're definitely impressing me this morning. This is a good one. All right, Bill, I'll toss it back to you, and then we're going to hang on a bit.
Dan Satterfield in his element live in Rehoboth. Dan, thank you. We're going to check back in. Let's move down the coast a little bit to Ocean City, not exempt from this weekend's storm. WBOC's Kirsten Clark joining us from downtown Ocean City. Kirsten, good morning. People in the resort town say they've dealt with bad storms before. They're not taking this one lightly, and they're heeding warnings.
Good morning, Bill. We're here in Ocean City near the inlet. The rain had picked up a couple minutes ago, but it seems to have died down again. But also the flooding here has receded. We're here at the intersection of Philadelphia Avenue and Worcester Street. And I just want to show you Worcester Street and the street here were once fully flooded. You couldn't even see the middle of the road. But as you can see here now, it's pretty much clear. We've seen more cars driving here as people get ready to go to work this morning. But again, the winds are still high. The rain is off and on. So encourage people to stay inside, stay safe, take precautions. We spoke to first responders yesterday who say, they just want people to be vigilant of what's going on. And they are ready to, rescue people if flooding does get worse.
Anything loose because of the wind, you want to secure in some manner, bring it inside or what have you. Close your windows, close your doors, do some of those simple things, make sure you have water, etc. And most importantly, if you do have a fire or medical emergency, dial 911 and we will respond to any and all emergencies during the storm.
Yep, again, Bill, I'm still holding my hat down because these winds out here are strong. The rain seems to be picking back up again. So if you can, stay inside today. Stay tuned in to WBOC News here, to our weather app, just to know what's going on, and so you can stay safe and be prepared for anything that comes with Tropical Storm Ophelia. For now, back to you, Bill.
Kirsten Clark holding on to that hat very tightly. I'm impressed that it has managed to make it this far. We're going to check back in with her in just a little bit as well. Now, this weekend's storms, they are expected to be pretty bad. So their state of emergency has already been declared by Maryland Governor Wes Moore. The order will allow the state to take action to coordinate and request emergency resources and support. The governor urged people in the storm's path to stay indoors and to be prepared for these storms to be a multi-day event. However, cleanup crews are already on the road to recovery and to restore anything that may be wrong. The State Highway Administration has cleaned drainage inlets, pipes, and ditches to help reduce standing water. Crews also have chainsaws ready to clear down trees off of Maryland roadways. Now, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin also issued a state of emergency as they deal with Ophelia. The declaration allows the Commonwealth to mobilize their resources and equipment for recovery efforts. The Virginia Emergency Support Team is monitoring the storm, coordinating all of their resources as well. Meanwhile, the Virginia Department of Transportation is monitoring the Chincoteague Causeway, particularly around high tide. They hope to give a 1-hour notice if the causeway onto Chincoteague, on and off to Chincoteague, needs to close there in Virginia. Now, Ophelia having quite the impact on our electric systems as well, as you can probably imagine. WBOC's Rachel Pierce joining us in the Newsplex. Rach, good morning. Several Delmarva communities already experiencing some outages.
Hey, good morning, Bill. We have a couple maps to walk you through to show you some of the outages, and we have seen some changes in the last 30 minutes. Starting with the Chop Tank Electric, the outages in Wycomico County, Caroline County have all been resolved. We do still have a couple in Somerset County. We have 23 homes out, in Worcester County reporting 13 homes out. Over at Delmarva Power, reporting 3 outages, 32 homes affected in the Princess Anne area. Over towards Bethany Beach, 12 outages affecting 124 homes. Towards Frankfort, we have 2 outages affecting 60, and Dewey Beach, 3 outages affecting 31 homes. Heading over lastly to the Delaware Co-op, we have a lot of outages towards the coast, especially towards the Millville area. We have in Sussex County 1,382 homes affected, and in Kent County 57 homes affected. Bill, we've said it a lot this morning, but just make sure you have your phone charged, ready, have the WBOC weather app downloaded in case the power goes out. And also, Bill, I just turned my phone onto that low power mode. Could help save battery. Bill, back to you.
There you go, Rachel Pierce. Thank you very much. Let's take you to the western side of Delmarva now, where folks in Somerset County, they certainly know a thing or two about flooding as well. A storm shelter has opened up at Washington High School in Princess Anne. Those going, they should bring sleeping supplies, medications, and personal hygiene items. Pets are allowed in the Somerset County shelter as long as they're up to date on their shots. Now, as the storm continues, you will lose access to some Delaware state parks. Drive-on beach accesses are closed. Officials are expected to reevaluate conditions tomorrow. Lifeguards will not be on duty at all this weekend. And the campgrounds at Cape Henlopen State Park, Delaware Seashore State Park, and the Indian River Marina will all be closed through Monday. Now, the storm is wiping out a lot of events this weekend, not the Maryland Folk Festival, though, although they did have to tweak their schedule for today. Officials posting to social media Friday evening saying that today's events in Salisbury will have a delayed start due to the tropical storm. The event will now kick off at 3 p.m. instead of the scheduled start time at noon. Officials say they will constantly monitor the weather and change plans if necessary there in Salisbury. Now, the Maryland Folk Festival is one of a few outdoor events hoping to still take place on Delmarva this weekend. For a full list of canceled, rescheduled, and delayed events, you can turn to the WBOC News app or our website, WBOC.com. 7:39 on WBOC News this morning. You're getting a live look at the Gateway Subaru camera at the Commander Hotel. That wind is howling out there, Mr. Conway. Something we can expect on our coastal communities all day, really.
Pretty much, yeah. And I think our coastal communities will continue to bear the brunt of the storm, with the rest of Delmarva primarily dealing with just some breezy rain. But that's not all we have to talk about. Let's get right into the satellite and radar. Here's the broad picture view of Tropical Storm Ophelia. It's made a landfall in North Carolina about 300 miles south of us, so this is a very large storm. Zooming in here, though, something I want to draw folks' attention to, down here in North Carolina, we've seen a couple of tornado warnings popping up down here. Now, this is nowhere near Delmarva, but we typically see little spin-up tornadoes in that front right quadrant relative to the storm's motion, which in this case would be the northeastern corner of the storm. We are going to be on the northeastern corner of the storm a little later today, so we may have to contend with a little bit of severe weather. We gotten some pretty good amounts of rainfall already on portions of Delmarva as my graphic very, very slowly populates the radar estimated rainfall. Wow, this is being really, really slow. But we have had an official estimate of about 2¼ inches of rain measured. That was an actual measurement in Ocean Pines, and we have seen close to 3 inches of rain already down in Chincoteague. And we still have quite a bit more rain to go through before this is all said and done early on Monday morning. All of Delmarva should expect to continue to see at least 1 inch to 2 to 2½ inches of rain, with some locations seeing 3 inches of rain or more. This is going to waterlog the soil in some areas, so when those wind gusts come by, they could uproot a tree if that soil gets too waterlogged. Going to be kind of a washout of a day, 70–80% chances of those on and off showers being gusty all day. We'll see that thunderstorm threat start to come in a little later today. Our rain chances will start to decline as we get into the overnight hours. Still very windy across Delmarva. 45-mile-per-hour winds. We just looked out there. I believe that 40-mile-per-hour winds in Salisbury, and our wind gusts are bordering on tropical storm force in both Dover and in Georgetown. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone to go to the beaches today. That's not why I'm bringing up the beaches forecast for you. The reason I am bringing this up is right now we're at low tide. Kirsten was mentioning that it looked like the floodwaters had receded. Part of the reason for that is that we are at low tide right now. We are going to be getting toward high tide yet again a little later today, probably around 3 to 4 o'clock. We could see some of that street flooding come back. So wrapping up your forecast for your weekend, kind of a washout for today. We'll see some lingering breezy showers through tomorrow.
John, thank you, sir. Our storm team coverage will continue in just a few moments. It is 7:42, but first, Chopper 16 flies to Sussex County. Here's Lauren Hitch with this morning's Proud to Serve.
Founded in 1906, the Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company has a rich history of dedication and service. Let's fly over with Chopper 16. From its modest beginnings with hand-pulled hose carts, the company has grown into a modern force equipped with a fleet of apparatus and advanced rescue equipment. Over the years, the company expanded its reach, serving not only Rehoboth Beach, but also Dewey Beach and Henlopen Acres. Through hurricanes, blizzards, and major fires, the volunteer firefighters have stood strong and continue to grow. WBOC is proud to serve the Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company and all of Sussex County, and proud to partner with Johnny Janosik's Outdoor World, Delaware's premier outdoor furniture destination. Check out their extensive line of indoor and outdoor patio furniture in stock and ready to go, with everyday low prices and special financing. I'm Lauren Hitch with Chopper 16.
Good morning and welcome back. Of course, Tropical Storm Ophelia has been stealing the headlines this morning as it continues to churn, bringing some heavy rain all the way from North Carolina into southern New England, including Delmarva. It has been triggering a couple tornado warnings as well. We're going to be talking about that threat for us in just a moment. But right now we're seeing mainly just widespread light to moderate rain showers, windswept rain showers over Delmarva, and we have been seeing rumbles of thunder as well as some heavier downpours down on the lower eastern shore of Maryland into Accomack County in Virginia. That trend is going to continue over the next several hours. Windswept rain with occasional downpours as we get into the afternoon. And in fact, we're going to get into a more convective mode with this storm as Ophelia continues to approach from the south. We're going to see some thunderstorm activity starting late this morning through this afternoon, possibly into this evening. Some of those storms could be severe. The main threat for severe weather is going to be for the southern 2/3 of Delmarva, from a line from about the Bay Bridge to just north of Milford and all points south, including Sussex County, Dorchester, the Salisbury area, the Delaware, Maryland beaches into Accomack and Northampton counties. In addition to gusty winds as well as heavy downpours, it's a brief tornado threat we have to talk about. in this area, about a 2% chance of a brief spin-up tornado. Fortunately, in tropical systems, tornadoes are usually pretty weak. They're usually pretty brief, but they can still cause some significant damage. Meteorologist Mike Lichniak and I will be here all throughout the day into tonight, keeping an eye on that radar for you. We will be breaking in if anything develops that poses a threat to life and property. I still think our coastal communities are going to continue to bear the brunt of this storm as gusty winds, tropical storm force or greater, continue to lash the area. The rest of the region going to see lesser winds and mainly just windswept rain. We're going to see the winds, though, start to shift to a more southerly direction as Ophelia starts to transition from a tropical system to a mid-latitude cyclone. You see this kind of line here between where the winds are going from the east and the winds are coming from the south. That's the start of a frontal boundary. That's also going to help be a focal point for some thunderstorm activity later tonight. Futurecast overnight, we're going to start to see these showers becoming a little less widespread into tomorrow morning, into tomorrow afternoon. Breezy showers continue, and that wind going to shift to a southwesterly direction. That could cause some minor flooding problems for communities such as Crisfield, Crocheron, Wingate, over toward the Crapo area, up toward Cambridge as well. Storm threats. Flooding from tidal surge going to be one of our main threats, especially at our coastal beach communities. We are going to see our next high tide coming up right between 3 and 4 p.m. Beach erosion going to be an issue there, and of course we are going to be watching for that tornado threat. Wrapping things up in the 7-day forecast here, today did mark the first day of astronomical fall with tropical storm conditions, breezy conditions Sunday, and then a little quieter next week, but with daily chances of scattered showers.
John, thank you, sir. We've got more storm coverage about Ophelia coming up in just a few minutes. WBOC News this morning continues in just a minute. It is 7:51. We are waking up to rain, wind, and coastal flooding as Tropical Storm Ophelia continues to move north. Our coastal communities are getting the brunt of this storm so far. Chief Meteorologist Dan Satterfield joining us from the top of the Boardwalk Plaza Hotel in Rehoboth Beach. Dan, how are we looking out there?
Good morning, Bill. How's it look out here? It's howling. It's wicked. Look at the ocean right now. These are 17-foot waves coming in. We're coming up on low tide, but I've been watching water make it all the way up to the dunes. That's not a good sign because it's going to be up another 1.5 feet at the high tide later this afternoon. Now, I'm on the 4th floor of the Boardwalk Plaza Hotel. We're about 12, 13 meters up above the surface. We're getting winds here gusting to 50 all the time. Just to our south, though, at the Indian River Bridge, just south of there, DelDOT has a weather station. It had a gust about 30 minutes ago to 63 miles per hour. There's one jogger who went by here, but I've seen absolutely no one else. There's always that one person, you know. Here's the deal. Let's hope this is a moderate coastal flood event, not a major one. The late data says that will be the case. That will be a lot better than a major event. But boy, Tropical Storm Ophelia, yeah, it's definitely here, and that ocean is the highest I've seen in quite some time. Be careful driving today, especially near the coast. I'll toss it back to you, Bill.
Dan Satterfield live in Rehoboth all morning long. Dan, thank you very much. Get dry. Moving down the coast, Ocean City not exempt from this weekend storms. WBOC's Kirsten Clark joining us live from downtown Ocean City. Kirsten, good morning. Resort town. Let's talk about how it's looking right now.
Good morning, Bill. We're checking back in with some good news. I want to show you here this intersection of Philadelphia Avenue and Worcester Street. Once looked like a giant pond, but that area has now cleared out. A lot of that floodwater has receded. But I do want to warn people, this is not a green light to just go back to normal. As winds change, tides change, and the rain comes back pouring down and gets harder, there's still a potential chance for flooding, power outages, and things like that. So make sure, again, you stay inside, you stay tuned in to our WBOC News app, to our weather app, just to know what's going on and take precautions and abide by any warnings and information about this storm. Back to you, Bill.
Kirsten Clark live in Ocean City. Thank you very much. Well, we've got one final look at the storm forecast with John coming up in just a few moments. It is 7:53 on WBOC News this morning. All right, Mr. Conway, how about one more look at the Ophelia and her impacts before we wrap things up?
Yeah, well, we're wrapping up the newscast, but we're not wrapping up the storm. We still have quite a ways to go, at least another 24 to 36 hours before we are going to finally be able to close this chapter of the Delmarva weather story. Let's break down your forecast. Rest of today, we're going to see some windswept rain showers with some thunderstorms. Some of those storms could become severe, producing brief spin-up tornadoes. Meteorologist Mike Lichniak and I will be in the station throughout the night, throughout the rest of the day and night, keeping you updated. High temperature 75 degrees, winds out of the northeast could gust up to 45 miles per hour at times with higher gusts at the shore. Windy showers tonight, again with some of those thunderstorms, could be strong to severe as Ophelia, the center, makes its approach. 66 mild for the overnight low, and tomorrow scattered breezy showers, not quite as windy, but tomorrow the winds will shift to the southwest, which means we could see some flooding issues in some of the low-lying areas of Somerset and Dorchester counties. Wrapping up the storm threats, as I've been saying all morning, I think it's mainly going to be our coastal communities that are going to bear the brunt of this storm, with flooding from tidal surge. High tide on the Atlantic returns at 3 o'clock, so we could see those streets in Ocean City flooding again. Beach erosion is going to be an issue, and of course we're going to be watching for those tornadoes. In the 7-day forecast, we get Ophelia out of here by Monday morning. Next week's going to be a little quieter with daily chances of scattered showers.
John, thank you, and thank you for joining us for WBOC News this morning. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can get it on WBOC.com. Stay with us throughout the day on our news app and on our social media pages, and tune in tonight for more Tropical Storm Ophelia coverage. Stay dry. Have a good day, Delmarva.